Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Christina Taylor, Senior Career Coach with the Elder Financial Safety Center at the Senior Source. We are so glad, hopefully, that our viewers are joining us. We apologize for the late start today, but we welcome you to our monthly Employer Spotlight. This is an opportunity for our viewers and clients to get information about employers locally who are hiring, learn more about the organization, and also ask any questions you may have. So today I'm so happy. We are joined by Ms. Yolanda Perez of Community Archives. Yolanda, I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce yourself. Can you tell us a bit more about you, about your background, and any additional information you'd like to share with us?
Well, Christina, first of all, I'm honored that you would even ask me to join you today. As you know, I am a big fan of the Senior Source, so it's certainly a privilege to be here with you. So again, my name is Yolanda Perez, and I have about 25 years in the operational efficiencies background. I have been involved with nonprofit and for-profits, and also served on a few boards. And so I love to help people and organizations identify what they want to be when they grow up, if you will. And then it's my responsibility to encourage that and help that, but most importantly, provide some pretty basic steps to help folks and organizations achieve their goals.
Wonderful. Awesome. So you said 25 years, and you are currently the Director of Operations for Community Archives. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So if you could give our viewers a little bit of information around what Community Archives is and exactly what you do.
Wonderful. Well, first of all, that is my department, my business unit. So the organization is called Associa, and I really appreciate the opportunity to just kind of speak to that just a little bit. Our CEO, John Corona, really founded this organization, Boutique Property Management, and it's a firm that's really all about trying to make communities better for not only homes, but apartments and condominiums. And he founded this back in 1979. And, you know, in 88, he started this whole in-service department that would be able to handle construction and maintenance for the needs of these communities. And we believe that, you know, home is where the heart is. And so the whole purpose of this boutique property management organization is that the homeowners felt, you know, not only compelled to want to live there, but once they're there, they have a sense of community, manicured community with amenities and activities. We have several branches across the U.S., and we also have branches in Canada and in Mexico. And we are a pretty big firm. In my department, Community Archives, which was something that was a brainchild of our CEO, that was developed back in 2006, which is web-based resell documents. And we're kind of like a processing firm, if you will, to deliver documents efficiently to buyers, realtors, lenders, and title companies. And we were established to help with that process. So if you're going to move into HOA community, you need to know everything about it, whether it be fees or what amenities are offered. And so my team, we work really hard across the nation and globally to understand the statutes and laws in those communities, in those states. And that way, when individuals go to close on a home, whether they're selling or purchasing, they'll have all the necessary documents to be able to do so. So not only do we prepare the documents, we have a customer service center that is open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And we take calls all day long about those orders, about those documents. And we feel it's certainly our pleasure to be a part of that home buy-in experience or their journey with these homeowners.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So you've given us a great kind of overview of the history of the organization, and particularly what you do. So one of the questions I think that we get quite a bit is really around, maybe onboarding or kind of, and I know we're jumping a bit ahead, but I know that that's sometimes a lot of people's questions. So I'll make this a two-parter question.
Sure.
Off the bat at this particular time, is Community Archives, is your department hiring for specific positions? And if so, what are kind of the highlighted positions? And the second part of that question is, what is an onboarding process like with Community Archives, Associa?
A great question. So yes and yes, I am hiring. Actually the summer period starting in the August area is a really peak season for us. Because think about home ownership, right? If you're going to be moving maybe for work or, moving out of state, a lot of individuals are moving from California to Dallas, right? And so they want to get here right before school starts if they have school age children. And so that's when things get really, really busy for us. Or individuals who live in Florida, they're like, okay, this is wonderful. I want to be here in the summer, but come December, January, they're ready to, do something else. So, the ideal is that we would be available to answer any questions about that process for them. And so the first thing we do from an onboarding perspective is all employees, no matter the department, comes on and understand the Associa way. And the Associa way is all about family spirit. It's about customer service, integrity, accountability, and innovation. John Corona, came up with this book that helps us to understand what it means to be a part of the Associa family. And what that means, number one, is that, we're going to be understanding. We know that life happens. And so we want to know about things that are coming up. So if you are a new hire to Associa and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell them that I had this vacation already paid for we just need to know those things, right? So we can help you plan accordingly. And so when they come on, they get to know the whole history of Associa, and they also understand how they fit in and all the benefits and resources that are available to them. And then after 90 days, they're eligible for our benefits and all the great resources that are available. So that's kind of the onboarding piece with Associa, and then that's about half a day of the first day, and then my team takes over, and we really try to explain to them, why our service levels are so important, why the customer service is so important, because this is something near and dear to people's hearts. And so we try to make sure they understand that. And we developed what we call boot camp. And that is where we just come together and talk about service, talk about, how to communicate. We have little exercises to help us understand our own personality. And then within the class, determine, that's that personality. And how do I communicate that way? Because we have all types of people who are going to be calling us. And so that boot camp is kind of like our culture, and understanding what's going to be expected. And then we have about 2 weeks of training. And then we start the process of working with your supervisor, understanding the expectations, and building a plan for your success.
Wonderful. I know one of the questions is probably 2 weeks of training. Is that paid training, Yolanda?
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because you're right. So many organizations will not pay you during that period because it's your time to just prove to them that you're even worthy to be on their payroll. But we believe through our selection process, when people interview with us, we really are looking for that special type of person who enjoys speaking to people, who enjoy some live in homeowners association communities, and some are dreaming of that, right? And so we vet the individuals who are going to be working with us, and we think it's the right thing to do to pay them for that training.
That's wonderful. I think we are definitely moving culturally to a place where onboarding is so important, right? Because not only is an employer choosing an employee, but an employee is also choosing an employer, right? So it's a two-way street. So if there were three things that you had to offer someone who was interested in working for community archives with Associa, three things that are just stand out about the company, aside from what you've already said, I can tell you love it. So, but three things that they should be aware of when looking at this particular company, what three things would those be?
Well, again, I think it goes back to our values that, we have the value of family spirit. And so we know in our own families that we love one another, we love hard, but, sometimes we get on each other's nerves too. And so we try to help folks understand that communication is truly the key. So, but family spirit really sticks out to individuals because of what we do in the community. We have Associa Cares. We have a number of mentoring programs, but also internally. Number two, not just the family spirit, but number two, we believe in professional development. We have Associa University and a program called Degreed. And so when you join the organization, you get to say, here are the things I want to work on. Here are the things I want to be better at. And then our online learning system sends you articles and webinars and homework that will help you achieve the goals that you're interested in growing in. So that's number two. I think number three is that we take what's happening in the world today very seriously, whether it be COVID, some of the instances of racial challenges. And so we've created resource groups that can help us talk about these things and understand that when you get to work, we know that sometimes it's hard to leave things at the door. So if you have a feeling that, hey, I get to understand what's happening with this group, I get to be a part of this group. I may be African American, but I get to be a part of the Asian American group and understand their challenges and some of their fears, right? And we have a women network group, right? And the ideal is that it's okay, ladies, to work hard, but it's also okay to have a family and have other interests. And so that's number three. But I think, those three things are really critical for not only onboarding, but sustaining, retaining employees. Now, don't misunderstand me. We work hard. We have a lot to do. But we also have to make sure that these folks understand we know they can go somewhere else, right? What can we do? What can we do to create or embellish on what we are already doing to make you feel comfortable and that you are included, that you are important here?
Absolutely. That's so important, right? Especially in kind of the times that we are in, it is refreshing to know that there are companies that exist that are putting that at the at the forefront of their agendas. Well, we do have questions. Again, this is an open platform. So I'm going to go ahead and read. We have a question from Celestine Todd. Celestine, thank you so much for joining us. She's asking, are the positions full-time or part-time? And I'll let you answer.
Can I just say, hello, Miss Celestine. I will tell you, I had the privilege of working with Miss Todd years ago at the Sprint organization. And Christina, let me tell you, this woman has the most beautiful smile and spirit. So, Ms. Celestine, thank you for joining us. So right now we do have full-time positions open, especially during our peak period. There are times through seasonal periods that we may work with individuals as far as their schedule or part-time. But what I would say to you is contact me. Let me figure out what you need. And let's see if it's not with community archives, if there are departments that have that type of flexibility.
I will honestly say, it's been a pleasure working with you as well, Yolanda, because when there aren't positions in your department, you've been very, forthcoming with, hey, may not work here, but it may work there, which is an awesome kind of transition. So as far as applying for the jobs, I imagine that the process is an online application process to begin. Is that correct? All right. And where might they go? We want to go ahead and put the website in to apply, maybe directly for jobs with community archives.
So if you would go to Associa associaonline.com. Associaonline.com. Go to the bottom of the page and you'll see a section for careers. Once you click on view careers, do me a favor and where it says where, put in Richardson, Texas. That's where we're located, in Richardson, Texas. I have a position right now. It's called Customer Service Representative 2. And that's going to be located on the second page. And if you will apply for that role and let them know that Yolanda Perez referred you. And that way I can personally make sure that I get to see your resume. And as I mentioned, if this is not a good fit for our department, I can recommend other departments. But again, associaonline.com, careers, and then Richardson, Texas. And again, if you're interested in community archives, Customer Service Representative 2. The reason why I say that is because there is another role called Customer Service in another department. And our department candidly pays just a little bit more, just a little bit more. So would love to see your resume.
That's awesome. Now, I've got a question, and it's something that comes up quite a bit, specific to customer service roles. Now, a lot of people hear customer service, and, it can mean quite a few different things, right? In retail, it's, a different thing than it is in a call center. Can you give our viewing audience kind of an idea of what the difference would be in working customer service and call center versus other things? Because I know some organizations are call center experience required or call center experience preferred. Can you kind of give us a breakdown as to kind of how that works?
Sure. So one of the reasons why organizations say call center experience required or preferred is because if you've never worked in a call center before, it is a different environment. And this is what I mean. It is a very disciplined approach as it relates to your schedule. So if you are scheduled to start at 8 a.m., we need you ready to go at 8 a.m. When that call comes in at 8, they're going to get you, not 8:05, not 8:13, 8 o'clock. And the reason why that's a little different, if you're in a retail setting, or maybe in an accounting, right, that might not be a big deal because, in retail setting, you have several people there around to help you. In accounting setting, you're doing the books, but we want our folks ready to go. So when that customer calls, we don't abandon that call. So a customer has taken time to call your toll-free number. One, you don't want them to wait too long. They will hear if there's high call volumes. I'm sure since COVID, everyone is experiencing that. There are options for you to call back and such. But at the end of the day, if I have someone who's starting at 8 o'clock, 3 people at 8 and 2 people are in the break room getting coffee, guess what? Those customers are going to be, well, what are they doing in the break room getting coffee?
Right, so exactly. And donuts.
Yeah. So that's just a little sneak peek of why discipline and reliability is so important, because we have our schedules set up based on history, how calls have come in, how many have come in, and we staff based on that history. So if you have people who are not where they need to be, you get pretty dissatisfied customers really, really quickly. But to your point, I believe that you can bring folks in that have not been in a call center before. I like to personally interview them because I always want to make sure they understand the difference. So thank you for asking that question. Yeah. Because I want them to be successful. And so I try to explain that. But the thing that I like to see is that smile. That's what I'm looking for. Are you smiling? Or, do you have, are you standing at attention when you're just ready to receive the information, right? Because I believe in my heart that customers hear that smile. And Christina, just a little bit of insight. I grew up in call centers. And so I know that good people with good hearts and good personalities, regardless of the industry, can be very successful in a call center.
I agree with that, right? So it's what you said, Yolanda. It's if you're starting with the smile, then that is indicative of you probably have a positive attitude for the most part. And I
Right.
know that in most call center environments, that you've got to have that smile. You've got to be a positive person. So I think that that's awesome. And these are trainable roles, right? Like
Absolutely.
you can be trained in these positions.
Absolutely.
All right. We have another question. Deirdre Paula, thank you so much for joining us for the Employer Spotlight with Yolanda Perez. Deirdre has a question. Is your pay scale considered a higher living wage? Great question.
It's an excellent question, right? Because a lot of call centers, and this is not to say anything that's wrong with the industry, but a lot of call centers start an employee anywhere between $11 and $13 an hour. And of course, through my background with nonprofits, I was thrilled to hear that we could offer $16 an hour. So absolutely, that's absolutely something that's very important to us. And so, yes, and that is a great question, and that is considered a higher living wage. Yes.
Awesome. And I want to make sure I got that right. So there is the possible starting wage of 16 an hour.
$16 an hour, correct.
That is awesome. That's very, very good. Now, I know we had another question that was specific to customer service rep to Yolanda. Thank you so much for answering all these. We have another question from Ms. Todd. Time slots. Are there specific time slots that you guys are hiring for?
That's an excellent question because, as I mentioned, we are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, but we do have different shifts. So if you were to come on board, the training time slot or shift is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., right? However, once you get out of training, the slots that we bring people into is 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we do that for a reason. We bring you in at 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. because our call volumes, in most cases, start to dwindle down a little bit, right? And so that gives folks a little bit of a break in between calls, not during peak period, people, not during peak period, but that's one of the things that we like to do. But what's great about it is that you come in here, you learn it, and we have shift bids, and the shift bids are not based on seniority, which most call centers are. Ours is based on performance. So let's say we have someone who is a tenured call center professional like Ms. Todd. That's someone that could come in here. They understand the basics of call center operations. They just need to understand the product, right? And so they learn the product, and then from there they excel because we do have goals that we need to meet, whether it be average handle time, adherence to schedule, quality. So someone comes in and gets to know the business and does well. The next shift bid that comes up, if you want a 7 a.m. shift and your performance is better than who holds that shift today, guess what? You get that shift.
That's nice. That kind of keeps everyone kind of in a position of constantly developing themselves.
That's
I
correct.
think that is amazing. Now, again, Yolanda, the Senior Source, our kind of our driving purpose is to be a resource in Dallas for older adults. Older adults is somewhat relative to some people because some people
Right.
are like, I'm not quite an older adult, but, we do recognize that after, a certain age in working terms, you're considered, an older adult seeking
Sure.
work. Everyone has a different commitment. If you had to kind of identify maybe the landscape of your current call center, do you host or is there a diverse population with the sprinkled in of the older, the younger, the millennial, kind of what is the landscape and how are older adults a part of that, to your knowledge?
Well, I will tell you that it's very diverse here from age and other perspectives. I will say early on we had mostly millennials. And so one of the things that was really important to me is that we did kind of grow the landscape and offer this role to those who were interested. And so I've had the pleasure of working with you, Christina, and trying to source for some of those positions. In fact, have an individual that you know very well that has absolutely soared that came from Senior Source, sits right outside my office. Absolutely
That's
skilled.
awesome.
Yeah. And in fact, I'm putting her on a special project. So she's not here quite a year yet, and had never worked in a call center before. But I love her spirit. I love her maturity, reliability. And so that's what's important to me. And so we are one of the groups that have certainly been recognized for our ability to attract and source for our open roles with mature adults.
That's so encouraging, right? Because we love to hear the stories around our older adults who found success in some of these places. Yolanda, one thing I know that we kind of are combated with, particularly with the population that we serve,
Mhm.
is a level of fear, right? And so we're in just an environment that we're, trying to figure out COVID. We're
Mhm.
trying to figure out how work looks now. And what we determined on average is where someone that is a bit younger, it takes, maybe a month or two to find a job. Adults typically between 50 and 55 or over 55, it's an average of 5 to 8 months, if not, a year to find it. So there's that built-in fear.
Sure.
What would you offer? What would you advise a person? And this is just not even specific to Associa, but someone who's out there looking. How do
Well,
you tell them? Don't be fearful.
Well, the first thing I think I like to do is make sure I know the resources that are available, like Senior Source, that can help with sharpening your tools, help with resume building, help with communication skills. And so I think as an employer, that's really, really important to us. When people come in and they interview, we say to them, maybe this wasn't a great fit for you. Please continue to look at our open positions, and we give them some insight on next time you may try this or that. And so I think that's really, really important because then people start to think that place is okay. It's not just someone who's giving me a rejection note. So I think that's the first thing that we recommend. Know your resources. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is to let them know that we don't know it all either, right? Which is why we have our Associa University. We have individuals that come on that maybe don't have all the soft skills yet, or they are unsure of how to manage their time, and so those courses that we have available help with that. And these are not courses like, oh my gosh, I just finished school, or I don't want to do this anymore. That's okay. They're webinars. They're articles, right? These are things that just give you perspective when we bring you on. But I think the thing that we must do, regardless of the demographics, right, is that we just have to be a caring employer. I truly believe that you can bring on folks that supposedly have all the great talents and tools, and they look a certain way and those type of things. What I find is that you don't have the richness that the diverse populations bring you. You don't have the camaraderie, the sense of community and family. And guess what? Think about the people who are by themselves and have those issues. We have a employee assistance program that our employees and families get 6 free sessions.
Wow.
So if you're looking for financial assistance, if you're looking for elder care, or if you're looking for daycare, maybe you need a lawyer, you get up to 6 sessions. This is the employer pays for this, Associa pays for this, in order to see what else is out there and how you can be helped. And I think that's what's important. We've tried to put in layers and resources that really put the employee first. Now, again, I'm not here, Christina, you know me, to paint rosy pictures.
Right.
Listen, we have goals.
Right.
We have expectations. And we have profit and loss statements, right?
Mhm.
And so, we are a business.
That's
And
right.
so, but, we try to teach the folks the business. We help them understand, as I mentioned with the, just being at your chair when it's time to start your desk. We help you understand by not doing so,
Mhm.
this is how that impacts the business. And I think
Absolutely.
that's how people get comfortable.
Mhm.
That's how people, when you just take time to explain why we're doing things or to explain why we have a process that is this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
You guys
lost
seem to
it.
have
There you
there
go.
we go.
Okay.
You guys seem to have a very well-run machine, and it's so interesting you should say that. You're like, you've got to be there. It's a very disciplined environment. And I was just thinking, oh my goodness, I started this live late. I probably wouldn't make it in customer service. Whoa. You'd be like, hello, ma'am, get it together. Viewing audience, thank you again for joining us. If you've got questions for Yolanda, please ask her now. I know that we've gone over company culture. We've gone over, just a few of the benefits of joining an organization like Associa, the EPA, which is outstanding, Associa University, which provides all of the tools and the training that you need, a diverse workplace. Now, one thing that we've not really covered just yet, and kind of alluded to it as far as COVID is virtual workspaces. Is your company or your department at present offering a virtual or remote option for work?
I think that's a great question. Unfortunately, not.
Mhm.
We did. In fact,
Okay.
we just started to transition back to work. We first talked about returning back to work last November, and but we did that just to allow people to start to mentally prepare.
Mhm.
And so in late April, early May, we start transitioning small groups and started with the leaders. We came in, once a week and then 3 times a week. And so, by the end of August, we would have transitioned everyone back to our building here in Richardson. And so we did not want to rush it.
Right.
We wanted to make sure that people felt comfortable.
Mhm.
And so what we did know coming into right out of the pandemic is that, our customers are at a point where they require us to be accessible in certain
Right.
ways. So we are an on-site organization. However, COVID did give us an opportunity to figure out what else
Mhm.
could we do.
Right.
So should another event comes up and those type of things. So we have the technology to support if maybe inclement weather. As an
Yeah.
example, and especially in call centers, we know that people sometimes are in dangerous situations just to try to get to work because they need their job. And
Right.
so we know that we have an opportunity to say, well, we'll just switch back to remote until the ice subsides or something like that. So from a business continuity perspective,
Mhm.
we have that ready and ready to go should there be a need. Should the cases rise, God forbid, then we'll be ready to go back and be remote if there's a need.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think that that's so important because that too is another challenge for some
Yes,
individuals, particularly if they've been accustomed to working from home or
yes,
any of those things. But it's good to know
yeah,
that should the need arise, that this is a company that values their employees' safety,
absolutely.
health, mental, and so forth. So we've got another question here. Are there multiple CSR roles available at this time, or is there just one? Are there multiple roles?
Sure. So the roles that I'm hiring for is again the customer service representative too. However,
Mhm.
there is absolutely growth opportunity
Okay.
here. After 6 months, we have team leads, we have supervisors, managers. The other thing about community archives is that we are growing
Mhm.
significantly.
Mhm.
So by the end of the year, first of the year, there will be other opportunities, and there could be maybe a higher CSR, or maybe a client support role that's really engaged with a client or a business. So we're working through those type of acquisitions and expansion. So there certainly will be more of those type of roles. It could be, still inbound and outbound and even chat, but you would be maybe dedicated to a region or dedicated to a customer type. We're not there yet, but that's absolutely our plan for expansion.
That's awesome. So now we're going to move into something a little fun, right?
Okay.
So everyone is, all about company culture and things that people do. What are some of, kind of the fun things that you all do? Do you have celebrations? Are there team building type things? What can a person that decides to join the organization or is hired on, what type of community type things are there to do within the organization?
So there are a couple of things, during COVID, as you know, individuals in the DFW area were in line hours upon hours just to get a couple of bags of groceries. And so one of the things that all of our locations did is that we had a huge food drive from all of our offices, and we were taking those directly to pantries. Like the North Texas food bank here is not far from us. So that's really important to us, is that, the housing just, increased overnight 40%. And so there was no laying off. We were like, who needs a job? Right. But that's not what happened in many industries. And so we wanted to be a part of that. We call it the big give back. And so whenever there's a need, we put together as an organization and figure out where or what community. The other thing is we're huge on National Night Out, because again, it's about community, getting to know your neighbors and see something, say something. But within community archives, not only do we do those things. Right now, we have a huge school supply drive going on. And Christina, I'm very competitive. Very competitive. So I walked around.
Nothing wrong with that.
I walked around the center, and I saw another director outside her office with just loads of supplies. I went to my team. I said, "Now look here. Now y'all know I'm competitive. So that's your benchmark. That's what we need to do." So we have a little fun. But the other thing, as we started to transition back, I have a young lady who has a side business of balloons and parties or whatever. We decked our floor out and just welcomed them back. We fed them for breakfast and lunch. And so we try to do things like that. I want to let them know we know how hard it is to transition back to work after a year. And so we wanted to take our time and make sure that they felt like, okay, I'm not just coming back to work, I'm coming back to my family. I'm not coming back to my community. Right. And so we do those things. But, for the month of August, they're doing donuts with the director. They just get to come out and, come and chat with me about anything they want to chat about. It could be about work. It could be about their family, or it could be about, what resources we need. And so I like to have every other month skip level meetings. Now I'm on the floor when I'm not on conference calls most of my time. That's but good. It is an opportunity to come in, have a private discussion about whatever, and they can ask me anything. And so we'll be doing that. And again, we'll try to do that every other month. So yes. And I tell people all the time, I'm head cheerleader. I'm all about, celebrations, and because we work hard, right? And so, but the other thing, as I mentioned earlier, I grew up in a call center. So I know how it is to be on the phone all day with X amount of customers holding, and they're not calling to say, you know what, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Is it sunshiny there? They're not calling you for that. They're calling you because of that. Right. Right. So I know how that feels. I've done that. And I'm taking escalations. And so I think when you have walked in other people's shoes, it does give you a perspective that, today, maybe I'll order Tiff's treats, cookies and ice cream just because. So those are the type things that we like to do.
I love that. Celebrating the people that are there, because and I've had way past experience, I had an opportunity to work in a call center, and it is definitely a different culture. I did, there is a closeness, right? Because you're there, and depending on the type of hours you're there, you're sitting next to somebody for XYZ time. And so it is so important to, kind of be appreciated and have those outlets and those opportunities to have donuts and talk to the director and ask questions and be involved in the day. So I think that is so much fun. So I'll ask you this: what is your favorite part of your job that you enjoy the most?
Well, I'll tell you, for the last, we're in July, at least the last 6-7 months, we have been on constant overtime. Just how much you can give us, how much. And we usually have contests and those type of things to get people to want to work more. And one of the things I found is that doesn't work for everyone. And so it was important to me to start, again, just having meetings with each individual and say, but what do you need? What makes you feel important or valued? And sometimes it was a lunch or whatever. But sometimes it was just, I love books or audio. And so versus giving them a gift card and, maybe I'm sending them a gift card for a book or your favorite bookstore or whatever the case may be. So I think my favorite piece, a part of the job, is getting to know these individuals at a real and authentic level. And I think that's important. And also understanding, and my mom taught me this, all of us, a long time ago, is that you never know what someone is going through.
So true.
And the only way you get to be a part of their story, a part of their journey, is getting to know them, giving them the benefit of the doubt, and also extending some grace. Absolutely. And so I think that's the favorite part of the job for me, is getting to know the folks, getting to know their families, and understanding, what their hopes and dreams are. And then, working together to overcome obstacles or whatever the department gap or need or whatever. It's not for me to fix. It's for all of us to sit down and determine, what are our pain points, and let's not go out and try to fix things. And no, it's about collaboration and partnership, and also ensuring that they feel like they are a part of something, that their voice is heard. That's the favorite part for me. I get to know these folks. I get to see these babies' pictures and those type of things.
That's amazing. And that's so good. Again, it's the camaraderie, it's the family, it's all of those things. Joining us still, we've got a few more minutes left. If there are additional questions for Yolanda, feel free to put those in the chat. I'm going to kind of just go over just a few of the things. If they are interested, they can go to www.associaonline.com and then go to careers. Is that correct?
Correct.
And they should be able to find all of the positions that are there. Another good thing that we discovered for your department, in particular, community archives, starting salary ranges of $16 an hour.
Right.
You can't beat that, right? Training. Right now, it's a 2-week paid training, 8 to 5. After that training, you are moved into a 10 to 7 shift. And Yolanda explained that that's primarily because, those are peak call hours and things of that nature. So that is good. Now, we do have one other question. Is the center social distance seating? That's an awesome question.
That is an awesome question. Absolutely. And yes, absolutely. So a couple of things that we did. Again, I have 3 different departments, and my call center team work in a particular area that does have the spacing, that does have the distance. But while the mandate when we were returning people back to work is that while you're at your desk, you still have to wear your mask. Mm-hmm. And so what we did was shifted a little bit because our folks were in lower cubes. And so we shifted it and added them to higher cubes because they're speaking all day long. And so as long as they were in their cube, they could take their mask off. But yes, we have made sure that we're absolutely within compliance, and there are signs everywhere. We make sure that we're practicing safe hygiene. I'm mama bear around here. Clorox wipe, and I'm wiping. They're like, here she comes. And so,
right.
But yes, that is an excellent question.
Yeah.
But we are.
Good. So important that preparedness and that readiness, because it then just alleviates an existing or an additional concern around, will I be safe, right? Will I be safe here or not? So that's awesome. If you have other questions, feel free to ask them. Don't have any other questions that are coming in right now. Yolanda, I want to thank you so much. Again, I've already put up the opportunity for individuals that are interested in applying. They can go to your website. Is there a way to follow you? Do you guys have social media at this time? TikTok, Facebook, and all of that fun stuff as well?
Yeah, and that's going to be mostly an Associa.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, an Associa website. But, let me I don't mind giving my email address.
Wonderful.
So if anyone has any questions about the environment. And, the other thing, Christine, I want to be real clear. We do have a lot of great things happening here. And as I said, I'm head cheerleader and all of that. But, I don't want anyone to think, oh my gosh, she's so fun. Oh my God. And I am. I'm head goofball, but I'm about my business.
That's right.
And so people know that, listen, I love it. Let's have a ball, let's cheerlead and all of that. But it's really important that I teach individuals our business and how to be successful in this business. So I did not talk about that, and I wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. But my email address is yperez, YPEREZ, at communityarchives.com. And so if anyone has any questions or they're not able to find the position online, certainly do not hesitate to send me a quick email, and I'll be more than glad to get back. And then, because this, to me, is really important that folks get to ask their questions so they'll understand if they think it's a great fit for them. Right. And certainly I'm more than glad to open up and share the facts about what we have to offer.
Absolutely. And viewing audience, clients, friends, if you reach out to Yolanda, let us know that you did. Let us know. We want to know, how, to be a partner in your career success. Yolanda, thank you so much. This has been so refreshing. I have just awaited this opportunity. We've been communicating now. Does it feel like a year, maybe?
Yeah. It's been about a year.
It feels like it's been about a year, and you've been just extraordinary in offering yourself as a resource to the senior source. So we are so glad that we have a friend at Community Archives, and this will not be the last that we hear from you or at Community Archives. So we will consistently be posting information about things that are happening. Now, to end up, just want to let everyone know that the Elder Financial Safety Center offers a variety of resources for older adults in Dallas. The senior source as a whole does. But if you're looking specifically for employment needs or resources, you can reach out to myself, Christina Taylor, or our new career coach, John Murphy, who's unable to join us today. We have a computer class. We've got a lot of exciting things happening. But if you're interested in career coaching, learning more about the employers that have partnered with us, or more information about Community Archives, feel free to reach out to us. Yolanda, thank you so much for the time today. You've been most gracious. We are very excited about this, relationship that we're establishing, and we hope to see you again.
Well, and absolutely. And if I may just say before closing, it's just been one of my joys to partner with you guys when I was in the nonprofit arena. We were partners, and I try to take you guys wherever I go.
Yay!
And I just want to just add on to what you said. I have family that have used Senior Source, specifically my mom. She loves her senior source. There's so many opportunities, whether it be career planning, financial planning, whatever. This is a resource, and I really encourage you. We are blessed to have them in the Dallas area. I really would encourage you to use those resources, and if there's anybody that think that I can help in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And Christina, you've been a wonderful partner, and I thank God for what you guys do for our community. I'm sure there are many who don't know the ins and outs of how you guys reach out and help and protect our mature adults. So just on behalf of me and my family, thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. We received that and we appreciate that, and you're very welcome. We love it. So again, thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for the opportunity to have a conversation around employment. The third Thursday of every month, we will bring to you an employer that we're spotlighting. And I can tell you now, this has been probably one of my favorites. I probably shouldn't say that on camera though, right? No, okay. But no, they're all great. Yes, amazing. Thank you again. Again, we look forward to reuniting again. Please reach out to Yolanda. Make sure that you visit the Associa website for the many opportunities that are there. Thank you all. Have a great, wonderful day.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.